Sunday. So, congratulations. It has been 14 days of exploration, 14 days of discovery. You know, when you explore, you discover. That's what we've been doing for 14 days. And a lot has happened within these 14 days. It was actually many months of learning, many months of experimentation that I just packed into 14 days, because I was like, why stretch it to longer than 14 days? If you get what you need in 14 days, you go ahead and continue to implement. It's actually the implementation that matters a lot. So you've gotten the, the information you need to launch out. Remember when we started, I told us that medical writing is hydra-headed. There are so many parts we'll continue to discover, and you can even form your own parts. It's what you call it that it becomes. So medical communications is vast. So you can decide to add your own niche tomorrow. Depends on what you have in your environment and the problems in your environment. So what I've done is just to open your eyes. It's not enough to learn everything in 14 days. But what I've succeeded in doing is to expose you to everything that I know. There are still so many that I don't know. But whatever I know at this moment, or whatever I knew before the challenge started, I've told you whatever that got me from where I was to where I am. That's what I've shared with you. But the extent to which you will now implement it will now determine the level of output that will come out from it. That's why you have a class of 40. At the end of the day, you have first, second, third. Then you still have those at the bottom. You'll be wondering, the same teaching, what happened? So the output doesn't usually depend on the input. It depends on, well, sometimes it depends if the input is so bad, but it depends a whole lot on the implementation. And that's why I always emphasize that if you don't implement, there won't be any difference between you and someone that didn't do this course. Because that means you just acquire knowledge. If you acquired, the other person didn't acquire, but you didn't implement, so you are still in the same, you are still at that same level. So the knowledge is not knowledge that leads to output, is what you do with the knowledge, is applied knowledge that now leads to results. So for some of the things we did, what I actually did was to show you exactly what I did. Some of them, I didn't show you what I did. I just pointed that you should check this and check this and check this. So it's just for you to go and check those courses. So if you don't check, that means you won't know what is beyond. So you have to cross the gates and go over to look. And that's what differentiates one person from another. Because one person may decide to check, another person may not bother to check. So all those courses that I pointed out, go ahead and go and try and do them. The good thing is that almost all of them are free. And you also get the slides, the recorded slides. I'll send it immediately after this meeting. So you still have the opportunity to replay and get some of the information you missed. But most importantly, one thing I want you to have in mind is to look at the goal. Why did you choose to do this? Why did you invest your time and resources into this? There should be a reason. Make sure you don't lose sight of the goal. You should always have that goal in front of you. You should always have that big picture in front of you. That's what will keep you. Remember what we discussed in module 2. The big why is that big why that will keep you coming. So you don't get satisfied with having only one article or two. Well, it depends on where you are going. Like I mentioned, I have a very big goal in front of me. So that's why no matter how far I've come, I don't even see it as anything because there's something I'm aiming at, and it's quite big. So that's why I keep on showing up, because it's consistency that finally wins the game. It's consistency that will determine who finally gets the crown. So I don't want to lose out. And that's why I keep, since 2023, that I did the LinkedIn challenge, because I've not left LinkedIn. So remember what I told you about LinkedIn being that you should see it as an account, and you see each post as a deposit. That means if for any reason someone has deposited 50 and you deposited 75, you are not at par with that person. Each deposit has value, because even some of the posts you shared and people didn't really see them, they may end up seeing them later, because those posts are still there. So it's a bank that continues to yield dividends. It happens, I know all of us must have seen that a post we shared many months ago and you've forgotten. Suddenly someone will like it and it will come up on your notification. So it's a bank. So see it that way. So continue to deposit value. Remember, you shouldn't be like every other person unless you want to be like every other person. Anyway, but if you want to build a career in medical writing, most medical writers are very serious-minded people. They say when you get to Rome, you behave like the Romans. So you should also carry yourself that way. Make sure you offer value. Show that you know. And that's what we do when we post. We are just trying to indirectly say, I know this thing. I know it. Establish yourself as a thought leader. That's what actually you've done over these 2 weeks. But after today, in fact, you don't even have any content idea. The content idea is today. So the idea will continue to come from you. That's what it means. So how do you sustain this? That means you have to continue in the field. If not, you won't have ideas to share, medical writing ideas to share. But most times, some of my ideas come from my normal work as I'm going through an article, or doing this or doing that, or listening. I listen to presentations a lot. In fact, the past 2 weeks, I've been on the platform Nigeria. I've been on their YouTube. The one they did last year, I didn't even know when. I used to listen to platform, the one they do on 1st of October. Usually they talk about politics, Nigeria. I didn't know that they did one on entrepreneurship on May Day. I just found out 2 weeks ago, and what I did was to download all the videos. I have about 14 videos or so. It's mainly only to have watched all of them. When I finish watching, I'll delete all of them. I'll go to other years and download. So there I kept some anyway. There's some you can't delete. So this is how you build yourself. Yours. I was just looking at the views. I saw 1.5 thousand views, 750 views. I was like, if this were to be something that doesn't make sense, you see 3 million views and 10 million views and all those things. But you can see value. These are people that they've worked through the journey for years, depositing value, and Nigerians are not there to even listen. And all these things that are on YouTube. So these are the kind of people I listen to. I draw a lot of inspiration from listening to them because they've walked the journey. So, and when you do that, you find out that you never lack ideas. Your head will always be filled with ideas. That one is the physical part of it. Then the spiritual part of it is that God is the original creator. You know, they say content creator, this one creator, this one creator. That word actually came from God. He's the original. So that means you can't actually effectively create without him. Because the kind of ideas that come from God, you yourself, you decide to think about some of those things. Some of the things that I've done, I mean, yes, I can say that I did a lot of work, so many sleepless nights. But if looking back, if I look at anytime I look at my portfolio, I will be asking myself, so you mean you actually sat down for more than 200 times to look at articles? Because each and every article there, either I edited, reviewed, or wrote, whichever one, that means I read through every word. The ones I edited or reviewed, the ones I wrote every word. So sometimes I'll be like, you actually sat down to do this. So even though I may be able to explain, yes, I sat down, I could remember the times I was awake at night, but I can still understand the number. That's where the divine comes in. And it's from God that you get the original blueprint. The blueprint that I'm running with, you can't even copy it. That's what somebody was saying. You don't copy people, you can emulate them, but make sure you go to God to get your original blueprint. Because what the script that I'm running with, that script was written by God and He keeps improving it. And is the original script, custom made, bespoke for me. So what it means is that you have to go close to Him to get your idea. Some of these things just come like you can see our background now. I never thought about it just this morning. Some of these things they come like flash. I was like, no, let me use this as the background. Even the images we've been using, I did a course in 2023 and we didn't use any image showing, okay, saying that kind of frame to introduce that idea. But immediately I sat down to plan to write out the structure for the course. God gave me that idea. Say, get a special image for this. And even just before this one, He gave me another idea. You can see the blue one, just like the idea came up just on Saturday, a day before we started. But now He has given me that as a blueprint that next time, when people register, even if they register 2 weeks before, 2 months before time, once they register, give them that link, let them announce that they've signed up. So that one is another template on its own. And the template keeps coming. Those things did not come from me. So that's why you should get close to God. That's an advice I always give to whoever that passes through this. Because he started entrepreneurship anyway in the first place. Implement what you learned. We went through the basics of medical writing. That's module 1. We discussed LinkedIn. That's module 2. We talked about client acquisition, and we even went ahead to even discuss websites and how to get a monetized website. But beyond that, remember I kept saying that medical writing is beyond whatever I said. You look around you and find, especially in Africa. Africa is a virgin land with so many problems. So one woman was saying, Grace Ofure, if you've never listened to her, please find her on YouTube. She said that her husband took them, I don't know the country they took them to. He wanted them to relocate, and by the time she got there, everything was okay, and no need for to think about generator, life to everything, the roads were okay. And she was like, that there's no problem here. That she didn't see that you make money where there you have problems. So she left and came back to Nigeria. So, and in fact, that's the best idea of, they call it Jakbada, I've ever heard. I've never thought about it like that. She said that where you make money is where you have problems. And that's actually the truth. And the bigger the problem, the more the need for solution and the bigger the reward. And that's what all entrepreneurs do. All entrepreneurs are solution providers. Look at Dangote. Provide solution in salt, provide solution, sugar solution, refinery solution, cement solution. That's just solution. So that's what you should think, even in medical writing. You have so much ignorance around here. So beyond the things I've taught you, look around. There are so many people that need the services of medical writers or medical computers, but they don't even know that they need such. So it's for you to now find out where you fit in. You mustn't necessarily do what exactly I'm doing, but find out where you fit in. If you cannot get the platform, if you are not given the platform, become the platform. That's what I normally say. Become the platform. Even though early on in my medical writing career, I had some, I was looking for clients. I still work with some of them, but I'm not so much aggressively doing that now because I have something that I'm building. I'm building a startup. But if I have any contract with anyone, I still do as an individual. But what I'm actually doing is to get my brand to the point of doing things as a brand, not necessarily as an individual. So that wasn't what I met when I came into medical writing. I saw everybody trying to get foreign gigs. Beautiful. But I kept looking at my environment. I saw that we have problems, local problems that should be solved. And that was how God led me into the direction. You can see everything around us, around what I do is about providing solutions for Africa. The coaching is about providing knowledge transfer to people from the global south. The health website is about spreading health information to Africa, especially when they notice that it's coming from an Africa. They may embrace it more than those foreign WebMD and all those. So also look around and remember that medical communication is beyond medical rights. So even running podcasts on YouTube, Spotify, and all those, anything that has to do with spreading reliable health information is under medical communication. So you can take any fashion. You can go in any direction. So this is not a coaching class. Before I turn it into one or a preaching session, it's actually a graduation, and we have to end by the grace of God before 9. So I'll leave the floor open for us if you have anything to say.
Please subscribe. Please subscribe.